Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Got my little cam up here and got a little special video for you, something I've been wanting to do for a little while that addresses the pre-1933 gold narrative that you hear out there, buying pre-1933 gold, about confiscation, and one other thing about using your coins to buy bread or food with. I want to discuss those 3 points, and I've touched on the subject many times before, and oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I digress. You know, I'm a fisherman. Look at all those snook going by. What a great day for the cam here. Anyways, as I was saying, I wanted to talk about these subjects, these 3 particular subjects. Confiscation, why people have to buy 1933 gold, and the idea of using your gold and silver to buy bread or food with, directly using it, going down to the local Publix or whatever, to the local farm, and exchanging your gold a piece of your little 10th ounce or your 1 ounce gold or your silver for some food. It's just not going to happen, and I'm going to tell you why here, folks. Meanwhile, like I said, this is the Deerfield underwater cam. If you're a fisherman, the amount of snook here is just unbelievable. This is a live cam right now, noontime. It makes me wish I was over there fishing. What great fish. These things typically run 20 to 40 inches in length, and they are predators. They are the apex predator inshore here in Florida. Well, this is not a fishing lesson, so let's move along and see what we can come up with here. What am I talking about now? The basis behind the pre-1933 gold is all based on FDR's executive order that people had to turn in all their gold, all their precious metals, unless it was jewelry, I believe, jewelry for sure, and or collectible gold coins. And this did indeed happen. Not a lot of people were charged with hanging on to gold, and I'm sure there were a lot of people that scuffawed this law and just said, no, I'm not turning in my gold. However, the federal government had very few prosecutions on this. I think one gentleman tested the case, and I believe, I don't think he won it, but he didn't lose anything, and then they reworded the executive order a little bit differently, and I believe they did prosecute a few people, but nothing significant, and people were kind of more patriotic at the time. They were more patriotic at the time. Americans were willing to give up a lot more things at the time. They trusted their government a lot more at the time. So, and FDR, as far as what was going on after the World Depression, FDR may have looked like a savior to some people with, what he did. And that's questionable. It depends on which historian and which opinion you listen to. But this is not a show about that. So let's move into what goes on from here. And I'm doing my little slideshow. Of course, I'm into these little slideshows that I do. The gold standard, if you want to know what the gold standard is, I don't have to explain it to you if you're a regular listener to my shows, and you already know what it is. However, for you folks that first time kind of clicking on this and you're not sure about the gold standard, pause this video real quick, type in gold standard. I like DuckDuckGo because they're private, and you'll come up with, I would say, I would avoid Wikipedia because Wikipedia darn near politicizes everything. If it can't be politicized, I don't mind reading Wikipedia, but when it comes to economics and politics, I don't watch Wikipedia. There's quite a few people out here that talk about gold standard and the gold standards, and who would I probably go to? I would type in, let me see, Investopedia. Let's see if they have anything. Investopedia. They're one of my favorites. They don't seem to politicize stuff too much. There you go, the gold standard Investopedia. My favorite when I'm looking up that kind of stuff personally. So go and look up what the gold standard is, and it'll explain to you exactly here. Again, that's for the new peeps. For you peeps that have been watching my videos for a long time or know all about the gold standard, you don't need to do that. I was just suggesting this for the newer folks. Meanwhile, newer folks, if you've unpaused your videos, and if you older folks are with me still, YouTube has so many different opinions on pre-1933 gold. Is pre-33 gold good for stacking? modern gold bullion versus pre-33. And of course, a gentleman that I like, Peters is kind of a controversial character, and but I'm a big fan of him. I actually supported him when he ran for, I think he ran for the Senate up in, was it Delaware? Forgive me, I forgot, it's been so long. No less, I like what he has to say, and Peter is also somebody that has said something that I'm about to say here, and we'll get to that in a moment. But there's all kinds of videos on here, pro and con about pre-33, buying pre-33 gold. And before I get into this, let me preface who I am. I'm a second generation coin dealer. I started coins, rare coins, and precious metals about the same time, but my understanding and my expertise is in rare coins and currency. I do know it very well. I've been doing it since I was a kid, and I don't want to tell you how old I am. I'm getting up in a couple years. And my experience is also in precious metals. I went through the 1980s market. I was a young lad at the time. I'm not that old, but I was a young lad at the time, and working for my family business, second generation. So I'm a second generation dealer in precious metals, rare coins. So I understand both products very well on a level different than other people's, not on a chartist level, not on a technical level, not on a level of as an advisor or anything like that. But I'm talking about on the front line level. I'm the front line retailer. I'm the front line wholesaler, so to speak. A little bit of both. So I understand both bullion and rare coins. And I wanted to go over some things with you. Let's take a look here. Best prices on pre-33 gold for screen. Look up, blah, blah, don't buy gold or something. That's just checklist. ITM Trade. I'm not sure who. Oh, I think I knew who that is because I actually looked at one of the videos from them just recently. But hell, let's move from here. I've already told you who I am. All the videos out there on YouTube talk about all this stuff. And I'm going to go over again a few simple points of my opinion, what I think is going on. First off, first, I honestly thought, folks, that this was a real United States. I thought it was a U.S. Gov website, and I realized by the URL it wasn't. However, some of these companies try to give you the impression they are government, but no less. This company talks about government confiscation of gold and understanding the facts. They do go over some factual things over here, but here's what I don't like to see, and right away it tells me that they're kind of promoting this. And what would they be promoting? They're going to be promoting pre-1933 gold. Why? Because of this statement at the bottom there. I like the fact that this company educated people on how it was done and how, what the actual history, the factual history of it is. I just don't believe it's correct to tell people that it was repealed, but it could happen again in the future. Laws can and do change. I agree that laws can and do change, but I disagree entirely that it can happen again. So let's go over some of my reasons why that's probably true. Meanwhile, investing in gold with Lynette, that's who I think that company investor I talked about a little bit, ITM or something like that. A lot of viewers watch Lynette Zhang, and I've watched this video here. That's why I kind of brought it up, and we're pretty much we're all in the same boat together as far as gold and silver in the industry wise. We're all here to sell gold and silver. We're all here to do the right thing by our customers and all that thing. However, I was a bit surprised that she was talking about pre-1933 gold as well. And again, I have to admit, I am not a watcher of Lynette Zhang, and this is the first video I kind of seen, and I did pop around a little bit, honestly. However, I did kind of go to the part where it talks about your thoughts right here. What type of asset could be excluded from potential confiscation? Now, honestly, I don't know what her opinion is on it, but I was kind of taken aback that she does talk about confiscation, and she does talk about buying pre-1933 gold, and that surprised me a bit. So, and she's one of the more respected people out there. And again, not saying anything wrong with that, and maybe I just kind of missing the context here, but I can assure you that pre-1933 gold is not the thing to buy. And I'll tell you the reason to buy it and the reason not to buy it, and I'm going to get up to that right now. And don't forget, I am a second generation dealer in precious metals, physical precious metals. I don't deal in contracts. I don't deal in the technical aspect of it, but the physical side. I've been on the front lines most of my life buying and selling rare coins and also buying and selling precious metals. And I've done my fair share and up into huge figures. So, I know what I'm talking about. And again, I'm not dissing anyone here, and I may have missed the concept of this whole thing, but I'm just saying, with so many experts out there talking and advising buying pre-1933 gold, I had to make this video, you know. And and I want to explain some points here. Let me get into these points. Number one, we are no longer on a gold standard, and I believe Peter Schiff talked about this at one time too. We are no longer on the gold standard. FDR could justify the confiscation when the United States was on a gold standard. Today, it would be paramount to theft, unless we went back on a gold standard, and that's not happening, folks. And I'm going to go over why that's not happening. The end of the gold, and let's talk about when the gold standard ended. There's different opinions on this. There's people that felt that the gold standard ended in 50 years ago, when 1971, when President Nixon closed the gold window. But what President Nixon did was close the most important gold. Granted, he did. Well, this is hard to say. I'm going to let you be the judge. President Nixon closed the gold window to all the big central banks, the countries out there, France, UK, all these countries that wanted to redeem U.S. dollars for gold. And the United States was doing that, but we were bleeding out our gold here. So Nixon was kind of either forced to give out the gold, but it was a result of our own poor spending. Sound familiar? But again, not going to go there. So Nixon closed the window for all the governments to get gold. However, Franklin Delano Roosevelt closed FDR, if you look down here in 1933, went off the gold standard. And what does this exactly mean? Who actually went off the gold standard? Well, more or less, what FDR did was made it illegal for U.S. citizens to own gold. So he took us off the gold payment here in our own country domestically. Meanwhile, FDR was still willing to pay out, because of the Bretton Woods agreements and other things, still pay out the gold window to countries that wanted gold instead of their instead of dollars. And this went on for quite, again, really, who took us out of the gold standard? I guess you really have to say it was FDR set the pace for the whole thing. It really wasn't. Nixon. However, we could get into a history about this, and that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about pre-33 gold. So let's continue on to my next thought here. And you're probably going to wonder exactly what does this involve. But you know, the confiscation. So here you go. Just imagine this confiscation time, and here's this guy knocking on your door. We know you got gold in there. Well, we don't know for sure, but if you have gold, we're coming in. Is that how it's going to work, or are they going to subpoena? I'm telling you, there's so many things wrong with the idea that gold can be confiscated. And the idea that people would turn it in willingly? That's a laugh. Especially nowadays. There is no patriotism anymore, folks. Think about it. Let me read my second point. Number 2. Most Americans own very little gold bullion. Most would refuse a ridiculous order, even if it could happen in a unicorn world. Which, you know, actually, after I wrote this, I realized that we could be living in a unicorn world, but not really, okay? Then what? Door-to-door searches? And that was the whole point of this right here. We're not on the gold standard anymore. There'd be no reason for them to come to, you know, there'd be no reason for them to take gold whatsoever. In fact, most of the younger generation and these young bankers and these young people working in the Treasury and the Fed, most not, you know, there are a lot of old guys there still, but they think gold's an archaic relic, man. They're talking about modern monetary theory. Do you really think that they're going to come after gold? No, they think it's for jewelry or watches, so that ain't going to happen. Highly unlikely. And again, what is this all about? This is about confiscation. Pre-1933. And again, I'll get into using your precious metals as a way to buy bread in the Mad Max world too. That's my last topic. So, door-to-door searches? I don't think so, folks, especially in the contentious time that we have right now. And the Second Amendment is so strong amongst most Americans. Well, look, again, I digress. Don't want to get into the political aspect. We're talking about pre-33 gold. And you're probably wondering why I'm looking at all this stuff too, because it brings on another question or another point that I have. These are German marks, probably during the German inflationary period. You remember hearing the story that during the German inflationary period, it took a wheelbarrow full of marks to buy a loaf of bread. So there's your wheelbarrow full of marks. So number 3, you will not be trading your gold and silver directly for food and services. It's not going to happen, folks. You will trade it for more dollars or whatever the fiat units you will be using at that time frame when you get the changeover or collapse or the failure or the hyperinflation. You will not be taking your gold and silver dimes and quarters and halves to the local Winn-Dixie or the local store or farmer's market or whatever kind of future dystopian place you'll buy food. You know, it's just not going to happen. First, and I'll tell you the primary reason it's not going to happen. Without the equipment, do you think that most people, especially young folks, know what real gold looks like and real silver looks like? No way, man. It's just they don't. They didn't. I don't think they even really kind of completely knew back in hyperinflationary times in Germany. You know, and again, what do they trade? What do they walk around with? This guy, for example, if he wanted to go buy a loaf of bread, I'll make this visual for you. While his grandkids were playing with it for a little while, there's a loaf of bread right there in hyperinflationary Germany. So he would take his wheelbarrow full down to the local bread dealer and say, "Here, let me have my bread," and he'd carry his bread home. And the bread maker would probably say, "Sir, I'm not interested in those German marks, but your wheelbarrow I am interested in." That's a joke, by the way, an old joke. But where would he have gotten, you know, he would have gone down and taken gold out of his little safe that's behind this wooden thing right here, gone down to the local gold merchant and purchased more fiat dollars or more hyperinflated German marks at the time. He was not taking his little gold coins down to the bread store to buy gold and silver, and neither will you. So you will not be trading gold and silver directly for food and services. You're directly now. Indirectly, you may be, and you will be if you're smart, because you're using it as a hedge against hyperinflationary times. So it's not going to happen. You're not going to trade it directly. So don't buy into these units of gold and silver that are, you'll be able to use this, or you need to buy micro units so you can buy food. It's not going to happen. The advantage of buying micro units is just the fact that when gold and silver gets so high, you don't have to sell a large unit of it. You can sell a smaller unit to raise a smaller amount of cash. That's the only advantage, folks. But again, we're going to talk about where we're going to get back into. We're going to get back into what I was talking about earlier, pre-1933 gold. Here's a 1922 US $20 gold piece. 20 cents are common. I mean, they made millions of these things, and now you see a lot of them are graded, and the prices jacked up on them, and so on and so on. And where did the golden confiscation? And let me repeat one thing, and I'll show you this guy because this guy is very relevant to what our next my next point is. And my next point is, number 4, the gold confiscation narrative is a bullshit marketing tool invented by a now out-of-business telemarketer 20 to 30 years ago to sell high-profit U.S. gold coins. I read the script, folks. I know where that script came from for pre-1933 gold. It's been very lucrative for the people that sell pre-33 gold, and I'm sure they're not too happy about me talking about this stuff. But again, separating two different things. There's two different things here going on. You know, pre-1933 gold. The reason that these telemarketer companies right here, guys like this, the reason that guys like this wanted to sell you pre-1933 gold, and the reason pre-1933 gold is pushed upon people that want to just make a simple gold play is because of the confiscation bullshit narrative, which is, again, totally a bullshit narrative. I've given you a couple good reasons why it is. I'm willing to debate anybody as far as why it won't happen. But no less, that whole narrative buying pre-1933 gold was created in the 1980s, I think, maybe 90s, I don't remember exactly, for telemarketers to sell telemarketers can take a 20% profit if it's available. So telemarketers at a 20% profit for their salesmen and for themselves legally. Telemarketers can legally take a 20, I think, or 25% profit above what something actually cost them. I think some states regulate it. I'm not sure if they all do. However, at 25%, telemarketers could not sell. Guys like this could not sell. The big guys you see on television, the guys that call us at or whatever, such as I'm not going to say any names, but these guys could not sell bullion products competitively with anyone locally with a 20% markup. They couldn't run their operation. So they came up with these wonderful schemes to say, well, we know what we'll do is we'll create the narrative that your gold will get confiscated unless you buy a 1933 or early stuff, because they didn't but they totally ignore the fact that we're not on the gold standard. But it was a great, you get a little old lady on the phone, you get someone on the phone, and it was a great narrative to say, hey, you don't want to buy gold bars. I know this stuff is more money, but the government can't steal it. Again, a bullshit narrative theme to just sell higher priced numismatic items. And that was it. And I'm definitely, I've been in the business a long time, folks. I just told you exactly how it is. And let's get to the thing here, because I'm sure that there's coin peeps out there saying, he must hate coins. He must hate. I don't hate coins. I love coins. I know the difference between numismatics, and I know the difference between, before I even get to that point, $20 gold pieces, which are highly touted by the pre-1933 salespeople out there. $20 gold pieces melt for what? Just take 0.9675, a little bit shy of 0.32, a little bit shy of 3.2%, 5% less than a full ounce. Okay, so if gold's around 1780 right now, what is, I don't know, 1740, 1750? I'm just kind of guessing off the top of my head, is what a $20 gold piece melts for, or less. So that's the gold content. Now, if you could buy $20 gold pieces for melt plus $100, which would put it around 1850 right now, with gold around 1780. Here, let's do the math right here. Hang on a second. Let me just do my little thing up here. And, I don't think it's going to allow me to hit that without plussing out there. There we go. 0.9675. Oh, there, I just screwed that up. Tire. It says tire. Sorry about that. Oh, gosh. I got to learn how to operate a computer better. 0.9675 times 1780. 1722. So I overshot it, folks. So there's right now at $1,780 gold. There's $1,722 gold melt in a $20 gold piece. Now, if you're a gold investor and you said, Brian, are those a good deal? I would say at $1,822 a coin, they're not a bad deal. You know what I mean? I would maybe consider buying them because it's $100 over its melt value. Remember, they're not a full ounce. However, let's take a look and see what they actually. Most telemarketer companies are not going to sell you the cheap versions of these, the ones that are closer to melt, the ones that may be $150 or $175 over, which are still too much. Most telemarketers are going to sell you certified, graded MS63s or 64. Higher the better for them. All right, but let's see what 6320 Saints are selling for. The wholesale spread. I'm giving you the wholesale, not even a retail. Add another $100 for retail or more, probably more on telemarketers. But the wholesale selling price, bid and ask on 63 certified $20 gold coins, Saints. Let's just use Saints, and Libs are the same price actually. The wholesale is like around. I'm going to round it to $20 there. 1,900 on the bid and 2,000 on the ask. So, for example, if these telemarketers have to go out and spend, and pay $1,900 to $2,000 for a $20 gold piece in MS63 that has $1,722 melt in it, then they got to make a couple $100. Folks, you are not buying bullion. You are buying collector value at this point. And there is a big freaking difference here. I could talk about the other gold coins, so I'm not going to right now. Brings me to point number 5, which is really important, because again, I don't want anyone to think I'm a coin hater. I grew up in this business, and I love this business, and I know all the coin guys out there, a lot of the major ones. I've been in it since I was a kid, so I know almost nearly all the major dealers out there that count, in my opinion. So, and some of them might even be a little upset with me saying this, but I got to preface this whole video with this. Don't get me wrong. Coin collecting is a lot of fun. It can be profitable. However, buy gold and silver bars and low premium coins for your precious metal purchases, not collectible coins. And when I talk about that, what am I talking about? Buying, instead of spending $500 or $400 or $300 over the price of gold for a $20 gold piece certified graded because you're afraid it might get confiscated, you need to buy gold bars, which are spot plus $80 or less than $100. And the reason, again, that telemarketers don't tell you this because they can't make any money on it. The premiums are too small for them to cover even overhead, much less paying their salespeople. I love coins. Coins are great, folks. And again, if you love coins, go see your local coin dealers. I mean, here's some beautiful gold coins right here that not $20 Saints, and 20s are pretty, but there's much cooler stuff by than that if you're going to buy collectible gold coins. 20s are very common unless you get proofs or rare dates. No less, 20s are kind of fun to have as well, but they are not gold investments, and they're not silver investments. They're overpriced. Overpriced. They're just overpriced. As far as rare coins go, I mean, take a look at this. I mean, this is some pretty stuff. There's a $4 gold piece. I've had the opportunity to buy and sell 3 of these in my lifetime, and it was pretty exciting. Those are six-figure plus coins. I've had the ability to sell some nice bust $10 gold pieces, which I think that is, or 5. It's hard to tell by the side. And that's proof right there, a proof gold coin made in 1833. There's so many cool coins out there, but the thing with collectible coins is you have to have a passion, desire to collect them. If you're going to just buy the stuff and throw it in a safe, you shouldn't be buying it. You should not be buying it. If you're buying it just purely for an investment, then you shouldn't be buying it. Unless you're buying multi-million-dollar coins and you can afford to hire a real coin person to take care of your best interests, and that's not going to be cheap. And you're not going to be buying cheap coins. At that point, you're buying coins like this. Hang on, you're buying coins like this for what is it? This sold for? The coin estimated sold between 10 and 15 millions. I think it's sold for 7.7 million or something like that. Just 7.5 now. Oh, in 2002, it's coming up for sale. Oh, wow. They're estimating this to be between 10 and 15 million. When you're buying coins at this level, these investors that buy coins at these levels, they're not buying the coins themselves. Typically, they're hiring experts to give them advice, to tell them when to sell it and when to buy it. And they don't have to follow the market. They don't have to be a collector at all. However, that's a whole different level of collecting, folks. Anyone that tells you can just take rare coins and stick them back in the safe and you're going to make money is full of shit. You have to have a passion to learn it, a desire to learn it, and you have to keep an eye on the markets and rare coins as well. And if you do like rare coins, there's so much cool things. The beauty of rare coins is you can get dimes like this, $2 and $3 dimes. You can have fun with the kids. You can have fun with yourself. It's just as fun collecting some of this stuff as it is $1 million coins. And I guarantee you that this guy right here putting those dimes in that book, and this guy looking up his coins, and this guy has far more enjoyment and pleasure in the coin hobby than the investor that just probably bought that $10 and $15 million coin. It may not necessarily be true. But it is typically true, especially when it comes to investment end of it. So don't get suckered into coin collecting unless you really enjoy it, folks. Don't let people sell you rare coins. And I want to tell you again, rare coins are great. And if you happen to like rare coins and you're even thinking about buying them, not telemarketer $20 gold pieces and certified holders and stuff that's pumped as pre-33 gold for gold investors. Don't buy that stuff, folks. Go out and spend $15 on this beautiful book right here, written by a senior editor, a friend of mine, Jeff Garrett, and one of the oldest books out there, the Red Book. Red Book is wonderful. It has a history of coins at the front, shows you all kinds of different coins. The prices are irrelevant in there because the book is made last year and the prices are already outdated. However, the data, the pictures, all the cool stuff is there. And that's for my coin collecting friends out there that like coins. I think it's a great hobby to be in. Also, make sure you join up to the American Numismatic Association. It's a great association, and you'll learn a lot about coins and hit a coin show or two. However, again, if you're just simply in it for gold and silver and platinum, folks, you do not really do not buy certified pre-2033 stuff. Stick with buying gold bars and silver coins because the confiscation narrative is bullshit. It's just there to make more money for the seller of the items. And I can honestly say that. And again, I've got the experience to say it. I've been on the front line, and I'd happy to debate anybody on this particular subject. Well, that was a long one. I hope you enjoyed my little midday video here. It was kind of quiet today. I said, you know what? I've been wanting to do a video on this for quite some time, so let me do that, and I did it. Got it done. I couldn't go in depth like this on my daily videos, so that's why I did this. Well, this is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. If you live in my area, I don't do any online sales. Feel free to come by or call us and anytime at 954-493-8811. We're open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays. Hey, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button as well. I do appreciate that greatly. And, oh, hey, do bookmark this if you're a new subscriber. This is a live Deerfield beach floor and underwater cam. You know, in the morning, I have found it to be very nice just to turn this on with the high resolution, put the screen up, grab my coffee, and believe it or not, it has sound even. It'll relax you. So for some of you folks out there that had bought Pre-33 or are a little upset about what I said, here, put this screen on and have a sip of coffee. That's what I do. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.